We've been following the work of Kenyatta Stewart, partner in the law firm Hunt Hamlin Ridley in Newark, New Jersey. It seems as though you have a passion for taking on the impossible cases. Why is that?
The back of this card. The back of this card, as you can see, says, prepared for the challenge. Listen, life ain't perfect. And people think that when there's some incident that comes up that automatically is either gonna go one way or another. It's not that way. Facts can be switched, can be curved, can be, I don't know what the word to use, but things change based on timing. People's memory change. People see things different. And it's just, that's just how things are. So we always say is my story, your story, and then there's the truth.
All right. Knowing that, in our research, we found some really exciting headlines, and some of them read, Patterson man accused of trying to kill 2 cops, or Patterson teacher and coach bell was lowered. These things all happened based on Kenyatta Stewart. So we're asking you, with these cases and you pushing the impossible, how are you doing that?
You almost made me sound like I was like magical or something
like
that.
Superman,
Right. The truth is this: when it comes down to it, you have to believe in what you're doing, and as long as you believe in what you're doing, you don't accept no for an answer. And hopefully, the people who you're arguing in front of believe you and believe in what you're doing and take your point of view. I mean, there's times when I've lost cases. But hopefully the headlines aren't anywhere, in the media. But my point is this: you take your time to read every single word, and a lot of people make that mistake. They breeze through things and they miss factors. It can be your report and you don't read it. Like, for example, in one of my cases, the guy didn't realize that I noticed that he copy pastes his report to his partner's report. Well, how do I know? Because all the words are the same and they both missed the period. They use a comma to end a sentence. So when I ask you the question, did you write this report? And he says, yeah, I wrote this report. Are you sure you didn't copy paste it? No. You positive? I'm positive. Absolutely? Yeah. Well, isn't it strange that you and your partner both have a comma at the end of the sentence? You both make the same mistakes? Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay.
You understand? But it's everything. A comma versus a period can be the big difference.
You spoke about being defeated in some cases and having to face defeat. Tell us, what was your biggest defeat and how did you handle it?
I don't do well with it. I do not do well with it. I won't say the name of the case, but I remember I lost the case and one of my other clients was in the room, in the courtroom while it happened. And, the judge was like, all right, I don't want to hear anything else, Mr. Stewart. And I'm steady trying to argue, and he said, listen, my decision is made. I've written on the order. It's over with. And I turned around, and I just saw my other client standing there who I had to go upstairs with for another case. And I just grabbed put my hands together and dig my nails in my skin. And I was going to curse. But because there were some other folk in the room, I didn't. I was able to, control myself. But you can't take this stuff personal. You can't. You can't take it personal, because if not, what's going to happen is you're going to miss something else because you're concentrating on what just happened. You just have to explain it to your client, hope they understand. And in your heart, you have to know you gave it your all.
Okay. We know that you are from an inner city. Being from an inner city, you have so many roadblocks and hurdles that could have hindered you from not sitting in the seat that you're sitting in today. I want to know, what were your biggest 3 obstacles in your journey?
Are you saying before I became a lawyer?
On your way to becoming a lawyer.
Okay. I, people don't know it, but when I was 12 or 13 years old, I got in trouble with the law. And, me and my friends had a big fight with some guys, and we decided to get into a car where the car wasn't stolen, but the plates were stolen. All right, so, got in trouble, spent my little time in, the police custody, and took my licks when I got home. But that was a huge deal for me because I think that was my first time ever seeing that, you have to know more than what's going on. You have to know everything. So that was my first, big hurdle. The second one was when I was in law school. When I was in law school, I wanted to quit. Some of my closest friends were graduating from college a year after me, and they were getting jobs. So, one of them is a principal now, Jamar Mills. The other one is a math teacher now, Lamar Williams, and some of my other friends. And they were graduating from college, becoming teachers, and having these real nice cars. And I'm like, it's my first time away from home. I'm out in Michigan, so I miss my family. My friends are sending me pictures of every party, every, event they're going to. They're having a good time. And now they have cars. And for whatever reason, I wasn't thinking about the long haul. So I'm like, you know what? I'm miserable here. This stuff is hard. I miss my family. I'm going to quit. And one of my closest friends was actually in jail, in prison. And he went to prison for something that he and I, actually he came to save me, for lack of better words. And he went to prison because of the situation, and he called me, honest to God, he called me from prison on my cell phone, because everybody knows my cell phone has always been the same, 698-5395-973 area code, since I was a little kid. So anyway, he called me, and I had my big, Zach Morris looking phone, and he's like, I need some legal words. What do you mean you need some legal words? I need some legal words because I read the dictionary too many times. I've been in prison for 7 years. I just want to learn more words. At that point, I said to myself, well, I'm a part of the reason why he's in prison, and he can't want it more than me. So I officially said to myself, you can't quit because he wants it, but he can't have it. The third thing will be when I was in law school. Close friend of mine who was also a law student, she killed herself. Just couldn't take it. The pressure. Being used to being on top. I think she was like Miss Chicago or something like that before. Always had good grades. Parents always did well. And she just couldn't take being average or wasn't, the best in the class. And, we tried to counsel her through it and talk to her and mentor her, but she just couldn't take it. She killed herself. That did something to me. That was probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest hurdle. Getting past that and understanding that you can't break down. As much work as you may have, as much of a challenge as it may be, you cannot quit. You cannot give up. And unfortunately, she gave up.
Okay, those are very, those are some really big hurdles. Going back to being from the inner city and overcoming these obstacles and hurdles that you spoke of. Coming from Paterson, New Jersey, which we know to be inner city, you grew up in this city, broken, neighborhoods, broken school system. You become a lawyer and very successful lawyer, and you come back to the city and it's still broken. How do you digest that truth?
I'm not going to use the phrase broken. It's not perfect, but it's not broken. And the reason why I say that is because, newsflash, somebody gets shot in Paterson. Newsflash, there's a fire in Paterson. Newsflash, somebody did something crazy in Paterson. But there's not so many newsflashes. I'm not going to say none, but there aren't as many newsflashes about, the principal that we have that's doing a great job, or, the students that's getting a scholarship, or the guys that's on the street hanging out just cleaning up the neighborhood. So, to answer your question, you continue to work. When I graduated from law school, I could have went anywhere else in the world. I had options and offers to go other places, but I thought it was necessary to come back here. So, you don't sit around and complain. You don't. You cannot sit around and complain and be part of the quote-unquote issue. Hopefully you're not a part of the issue, running around doing whatever it is. But, I try my best to mentor kids and bring kids up so that, they're part of it. So, for example, a lot of college kids, I always break them down. I say, listen, I've been doing a basketball tournament in my city for about 5 or 6 years. And those kids have come from, 8th graders to college and about to graduate. And I always say, listen, I'm going to get old soon. And you guys better start doing whatever it is. Because Tim Thomas came, and I remember that was one of the biggest deals for me. When Tim Thomas came back from Villanova and he brought Vince Carter, I was like, oh, Vince Carter is in Patterson. So, my point is, you have to give back. You can make your recommendations. And, thank God the mayor, who is, a friend of mine, very close friend of mine, and a number of the council members are close with me, and the people on the county side and the state side who are doing a great job. If I ask them to sit down and talk about the issue, they'll listen. So, again, you have to be part of that. And, know when to listen, know when to give your opinion, but for the most part, you got to do some work.
Okay. Now, with all your accomplishments, which we know to be many, we know that you still absolutely have to have a bucket list.
Okay.
Things that you still want to accomplish. Give us the top 3 on your bucket list.
Top 3 on my bucket list. Became a partner last year, October, so it's past. One day, hopefully, somebody will say, you know what, you're as good as Mike Shipp. Mike Shipp is from Patterson. His brother is Marcel Shipp, who, he's a coach for the Arizona Cardinals now. He was a big-time football player. Well, his brother, Mike Shipp, is a federal judge now. And, he just became a federal judge officially last year, or matter of fact, this year. But he was a magistrate judge. And, inner city kid, did well for himself, and now he's a federal judge. President Obama had to make the decision. Hopefully, somebody say, you know what, Kenyatta, you all right. You did a good job. And get there on the federal bench. So that'd probably be the biggest piece of the quote unquote bucket list. I hope to see that there's a possibility that I'll have a big part of bringing in hundreds of lawyers from City of Patterson. I mean, that would be a huge deal for me. And not because, I'm one of the first ones, and that's not why. It's just because that would mean that there'll probably be hundreds of doctors and hundreds of, dentists and etc. And then, more on the fun side, hopefully one day, I'll be able to, take a tour and be accepted into some Nobel Peace Prize for doing something fantastic. That'd be cool. It won't be bad to be on TV and, have a good time with that stuff, but to be given one of those quote unquote big time awards for doing something positive that has an effect on somebody else, that'd be huge. That'd be huge.
All right. Okay. In order to accomplish the things that you have accomplished and the things on the bucket list that we just spoke of, you have to have come from the arms of some great mentors. We would love to know who those people are or who that person is.
Okay. Thinking back, as far as on the legal world, when I was coming up, I didn't know many lawyers, actually. My mom knew a lawyer, Judge Carol Newton. There was Charles Thomas that I knew of when I was coming up. So those are 2 people who, I kind of heard of. Judge Womack, who I also worked for before he passed away. Those are people who you always heard of. But not for nothing, when I was coming up and I knew I wanted to be a lawyer, I knew since I was 12. So the person I kind of idolized, was Johnny Cochran. And I was an intern at his firm, and I had to force my way into their firm. He wasn't there. He passed by then. The year after was when I worked for them. But I literally sat in front of their building and waited for their partner to come in. And, I had to connect inside, and I was pushing the strings. So that was a big deal for me. So, Johnny Cochran and Derek Sales, who was the partner in the New York office. I mentioned Mike Shipp. Mike Shipp is a huge deal for Patterson, a huge deal for me. People always talk about Victor Cruz and Mike Adams, and those are the guys that play, sports. But to me, Mike Shipp is by far the hero of our city. And my partners. The late great Terry Ridley is, he was a huge deal for me, still is. We call him the smartest man. We call him Dr. Ridley, probably the smartest lawyer I know. And then my two other partners, Ron Hunt and Ray Hamlin. By far, Ron Hunt is probably the hardest working joker I could think of. I don't mean to call him a joker, but the hardest working person, fearless. The joke is, you see him in a fight with a bear, pray for the bear. And by far, Ray Hamlin has to be one of the most known, at least in New Jersey, litigators. And by far, if you compare him to people across this country, I don't see anyone else that can be in the room or be in the courtroom with him and not look back at him or look to the side of him and say, you know what, that cat did his thing. He, again, taught me so much. These guys taught me so much. And for example, when I said earlier about the reading every line, Ray Hamlin is the you missed a line and would turn that into a case on you. The fact that they can do that and they've been doing it for such a long time, had this firm open since 1995, the biggest black firm in New Jersey. You got to think about that. From 1995 to today, still running. And guys walk up to me all the time and say, are you guys still kicking? And it's hard. It's hard. You got to, fight for clients and, do whatever it is. And we're not perfect. But those three guys, believe me, by far are people who I've sat down with and learned so much. And it's part of the reason why I can do so much. If you think about it, I've only been a lawyer for 2007. Shh, don't tell nobody. And, the fact that I can walk in and say, this is the situation, or that's similar to what I had going on in 1992 or 2005. All right, and then I start, breaking things down, and then the younger attorneys in my office do a great job of keeping me sharp. I'm so afraid of being the guy who I walk into and I take advantage of him because he slept on me. I'm in court sometimes and it's a guy's like, oh, how you doing? How long you been practicing? All right, hi. At the end of the day, it's all right. Take care, old man. And it's I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be the guy who gets to a certain level and then now you walk in, you're not as prepared as you should be because this is some young guy going to be against me. Because that young guy will walk over you. This happened to be the young guy right now.
All right. Now, we've talked about your bucket list and a lot of the long-term goals for Kenyatta Stewart. We want to know what's next for Kenyatta Stewart. When we say what's next, I mean next month. Within the next couple of months. Short-term goals. What is next for Kenyatta Stewart?
Okay. Short-term goals. I need to walk my way into two, and I said this about a week ago, two big clients, and not criminal clients, two big governmental or corporate clients between now and December. And that's what the goal is. I have a few, political races going on that should go well, and we're trying to help people go the right way. So hopefully we can help them help them make their ways into office. And then next year the plan is to have a huge corporate client, one or two that's nationally known. My firm is known throughout the state of New Jersey, New York as well. But it's time to get to the national level. This little sign that's on my jacket, I don't think anybody knows about the sign in Indiana, Ohio. It's time.
And there you have it. Another great interview with Kenyatta Stewart, partner of Hunt Hamlin Ridley in Newark, New Jersey. And you can catch this at www.newsplash.com.